Hi, welcome. My name is Gerald Donovan. I'm the Grand Seiko guy, and I thought I might start doing some videos. The first one is actually going to be an unboxing of the first Grand Seiko. I'm doing this because this particular box set is very complete. It has pretty much everything that would have been with the watch when it was first sold back in the early 1960s, and this will soon be going to a collector, and it may be quite some time before I find another one that is this much of a full set. There is one thing I believe missing from this, which I will explain as I go through it. So what we're looking at now is the outer box. As with modern Grand Seikos, there's normally an outer box, cardboard in this instance, but this one's printed. And as we'll see hopefully in later videos, when I take you through the other boxes, you'll see that this is actually a unique box to this model. So let's take the outer box off. We can see it says Grand Seiko, the wrist chronometer of supreme quality in accordance with the international standard, on the outside. A nice red and black box with some pattern on the side of it. So we'll just put that box lid to one side. The first thing to notice about this is that, as with the modern Grand Seikos, there is a piece of sort of rice paper or tracing paper that protects the inner box from the outer box. This is, believe it or not, a piece of paper that is 56 or 57 years old. It has got a little bit torn in the history, unfortunately, but it is exceedingly rare to find this paper still intact with the box set, and we just move it back, and there inside we can see the inner box. So I'm just going to take this inner box out and put to one side the rest of the outer box and that paper rather. Okay, so here we go. Grand Seiko. Let's move that out of frame. A black box with a texture to sort of almost like a faux leather texture to the top of it. And this Grand Seiko is in gold embossed on the box. When we open the box up, I'll just rotate it like this, we can see on the inside again we have the same writing that was on the outside of the box. Grand Seiko, the wrist chronometer of supreme quality in accordance with the international standards. So obviously that was a big thing for Seiko to be promoting. First thing to note, this box, the hinge won't quite keep it open. I don't want to force it, so I'm going to have it at a slight angle like this. First thing, very, very rare indeed. Probably as rare to find with the original rice paper protecting the inner box, is this original cleaning cloth, which you can see there. Hopefully the camera is going to pick this up. It's embossed Grand Seiko chronometer. Absolutely remarkable that this polishing cloth has lasted and stayed with this set for such a long time. We'll put that to one side. Obviously we can see the watch in there. We'll come to that in a moment. First of all, to show there are two swing tags. Let's get them both out. This first swing tag there we can see is, I'm not quite sure what this is made of. It's a strange, almost plasticky texture. But this is basically to tell that the purchase of this has been tested. Again, not sure if we can quite make it out on there. We might do some macro stuff later on in another video. Specially inspected Seiko Grand Seiko, and on the other side, the Grand Seiko Lion with Grand Seiko written there. So just move it around in the light just to give you a little bit of a sense of the texture of it. Put that to one side. The next swing tag is a very important one. This little key-shaped swing tag that says perfect adjustment, a little bit overstated there. Grand Seiko and Seikosha at the bottom. As we'll see in a moment, unlike all other Grand Seikos, the first Grand Seiko, or the Grand Seiko first, does not have its catalog, its case number on the back of the case. There is no way of seeing what the serial number of the watch is unless you actually crack it open. So you imagine that when this was in a shop display, the paperwork for the watch was probably kept in the back office, and you wanted to make sure that when you sold a particular watch that it went with its right paperwork. So this little swing tag here would have been attached to the watch, and it has the movement number on it here. So we can see this is number 114412. If you're ever fortunate enough to come across an example of a Grand Seiko First with its certificate and with its little key swing tag as we're looking at here, obviously all these numbers should match. So in a moment we will see this number 114412 both on the certificate, and if I dare to pop the back of the watch, we'll see it on the watch. It's on the watch movement itself as well. So that's the second little swing tag. Now let's open the box and get the watch itself out. We'll just have a look at the watch. There are actually no fewer than 9 separate dial versions of the Grand Seiko First. This one is the most common. It's the raised dial version, which pretty much all examples that you will see come to the market will have. Let's just wind it up and get it running. And it's the raised logo. It's the logo we refer to as either raised or sometimes they can be printed, which is extremely rare. The carved dial versions, the carved logos, very, very attractive pieces. And then finally the mysterious AD dials, which we're not quite sure how many of those there are, but they are extremely rare. Just to point out, this is not the original strap that the watch came with, and this is also not the original buckle. I do have an original buckle to one side, which I'll pull out in a moment, but just to keep the original buckle safe, I decided to put a modern buckle on here. Probably don't want to be wearing a watch with on a piece of leather with a buckle that is 50 plus years old. Might be some risk there. If we turn the watch over, and here we can see on the case back the Grand Seiko lion that is actually embossed on that medallion in the middle of the case back. I'm going to put the watch to one side for now. We may come back and open that up in a moment. So that's the watch. The one thing that's missing actually now is just a good time to point that out, is on the original strap would have been a little price ticket that would have said the price of this watch, which when it was released was 25,000 yen. And that'd be a little paper ticket that would have been around the original strap. That is, I believe, the only thing that is missing from this set. So let's just put the watch to one side. We will come back to that. Here, just so that you can see it, this is the original. I think my cat's going to come and join us in a moment. This is the original buckle. Apologies, not sure if the camera is focusing on that. It's a similar sort of design to the one that's on the strap at the moment, but that's pretty delicate after 50 odd years. Okay. Now, in terms of paperwork, there are two pieces of paperwork that come with the set. The first is the manual for the watch, so that's here. It's a pretty brief manual. It's not large. It's not many pages, and it's all in Japanese, I think. We can see Grand Seiko chronometer. Interesting to note that the crown on the picture of this watch is not the same as the crown that's on the later models. Also, this is, I think, a carved dial. Picture of the carved dial. We can just about make out that that's carved text and the 3D hands. I might do a review or an overview of all the 9 different dials in a later video. There's the standard that the watch. This is the regular standard, and here is the Grand Seiko. It wasn't called the Grand Seiko standard then, it was called the Superior standard in terms of the performance of the watch. We'll have a look at the certificate in a moment. Again, I think just a 8 or so page manual detailing the watch. So that's the manual. This I've actually separated out. This is another piece which is extremely rare to come across. May just look like a little plastic folder because it is a little plastic folder, but this is the original folder that the timing certificate or the rating certificate would have been folded up and placed into with the watch. As you can see, it's too big for the case, which is why this quite possibly would have been kept aside, and why that little key swing tag is so crucial to make sure the correct paperwork stays with the correct watch. So we'll just put that to one side. And now let's bring out the rating certificate. Let's take it out of a protective plastic sheet. not going to fit this all in the field of view, but we will see how we go. The rating certificate has its own number, so the certificate number here is 811473. On the right hand side there we can see the movement number that corresponds with the number on the tag, 114412. And handwritten over the course of the 15 days, the actual results of this watch as it was tested. I've got 2 or 3 of these of watches with certificates. This one's not actually the best performing, but it certainly was within the standard. And at the bottom it gives the core numbers in terms of the mean daily rate within the 5 positions, the mean variation of those rates, the maximum variation, the difference between the mean daily rate and any individual rate, and finally the variation per degree centigrade, and finally the resuming rate after that test was done. Seiko Company Limited, Seiko. And if we flip this over, there again, as we saw repeated from what was in the manuals as well, is the actual standards that this watch is measured to. Interestingly, both in English and in Japanese. You can see if we fold this paper up, the original folds, it would actually then slide very tightly into here, but I like to keep this flat. So there's the certificate with the watch. So that's the unboxing. That's everything that is in the box. I think I'll save the cracking open of the watch for another video. This is just a first attempt at one of these. No logos, no jingles, nothing like that, no introduction. You're not going to get to see me. Please do leave some comments below. Let me know what you think if you'd like to see more of these. And we will return another day. Thank you.